You know what day it is today. You probably checked it this morning without thinking. Maybe on your phone, maybe on a calendar pinned to your wall. You have meetings scheduled, deadlines recorded, birthdays remembered, anniversaries circled. Your entire life is organized around a system of days, weeks, months, and years that feels so natural, so obvious, so simply correct that you've never once questioned it. But here's the strange part. The calendar you use every single day was not designed. It was not carefully planned by mathematicians or astronomers. It was not handed down from some ancient civilization that understood time better than we do. It was cobbled together over centuries by politicians making self-serving decisions, emperors renaming months after themselves, priests miscounting days, and one pope trying to fix a problem that had been building for over 1,000 years. The calendar you live inside is one of the most consequential accidents in human history. And once you understand how it happened, you'll never look at February the same way again. To understand why the calendar is broken, you first have to understand what a calendar is actually trying to do. A calendar is an attempt to count time. Specifically, it's trying to synchronize three completely unrelated natural cycles. The first is the day, one rotation of the Earth. Simple enough. The second is the month. The word itself comes from the moon. A lunar cycle, from new moon to full moon and back, takes roughly 29 and a half days. The third is the year, one orbit of the Earth around the sun. That takes approximately 365 days, 5 hours, 48 minutes, and 46 seconds. Here is the problem. Those three cycles do not divide neatly into each other. 12 lunar months add up to roughly 354 days. A solar year is 365. The gap between them is 11 days. And those 5 hours, 48 minutes, and 46 seconds left over at the end of each solar year, they accumulate. Every 4 years, they add up to almost exactly one extra day. Any calendar trying to track all three simultaneously is fighting against mathematics. And the Romans fought harder and more chaotically than anyone. The original Roman calendar, traditionally attributed to Romulus, the mythological founder of Rome, had 10 months. 10 months, not 12. This calendar began in March, which is why September, October, November, and December still carry their Latin numerical names. Septem means 7, Octo means 8, Novem means 9, Decem means 10. They were once the 7th, 8th, ninth, and 10th months of the year. Today they are the 9th, 10th, 11th, and 12th. The original Roman calendar had only 304 days, covering the 10 months from March to December. The remaining 60 or so days of winter were simply not counted. They were a nameless void between the end of one year and the beginning of the next. Romans didn't bother naming winter. It was not a productive season. No farming, no military campaigns, no need to track time particularly carefully, so they simply didn't. Around 700 BC, the second king of Rome, Numa Pompilius, decided this was unsatisfactory. He added 2 new months to the end of the calendar, Januarius and Februarius. January and February. The void was filled. The calendar now had 12 months, but Numa had a problem with even numbers. Roman superstition held that even numbers were unlucky. So Numa tried to give each month an odd number of days, 29 or 31. But 12 months of odd-numbered days adds up to an even total. His solution was to make February the exception. February would have 28 days, which was even and therefore unlucky, but necessary to make the total work. February was already associated with ritual purification and the dead. an unlucky month felt appropriate. This calendar added up to 355 days, 10 days short of a solar year. To compensate for the missing days, Roman priests were given a remarkable power. Every few years, they could insert an extra month into the calendar. This intercalary month, called Mercedonius, was added between February and March. It contained 22 or 23 days and was meant to keep the calendar roughly aligned with the seasons. In theory, this was a reasonable solution. In practice, it became a political weapon. Roman priests, who were also politicians, could add or remove this extra month for personal advantage. They could extend the terms of allied officials. They could shorten the terms of enemies. Tax collectors could manipulate when debts were due. The calendar became so corrupted that by the time Julius Caesar came to power, it was 3 months out of alignment with the solar year. Something had to be done. Julius Caesar had spent time in Egypt, where astronomers had long used a more accurate solar calendar of 365 days. He brought an Alexandrian astronomer named Sosigenes back to Rome to redesign the entire Roman calendar from scratch. Sosigenes proposed a radical simplification: abandon the lunar month entirely, base the calendar purely on the solar year, give the calendar 365 days divided into 12 months of approximately equal length. And to account for that extra quarter day accumulating each year, add 1 extra day every 4 years. The leap year was born. Caesar implemented this new calendar in 46 BC. But first, he had to fix the accumulated mess. To bring the calendar back into alignment with the seasons, Caesar declared 46 BC to have 445 days. It was the longest year in human history. Romans called it the Year of Confusion. The Julian calendar was a genuine improvement. It was accurate to within 11 minutes per year of the true solar year. 11 minutes per year sounds negligible, but 11 minutes per year accumulated over 1,000 years adds up to roughly 8 days of drift. By the 16th century, the Julian calendar had drifted so far that the spring equinox was falling on March 11th instead of March 21st. This mattered enormously to the Catholic Church because Easter is calculated based on the spring equinox. A drifting equinox meant Easter was being celebrated on the wrong date. In 1582, Pope Gregory XIII commissioned a reform. The solution had 2 parts. First, fix the drift. Pope Gregory simply deleted 10 days from the calendar. Thursday, the 4th of October. 1582 was followed immediately by Friday, the 15th of October. 10 days vanished from history. People went to sleep on the 4th and woke up on the 15th. Second, prevent future drift. The Julian rule said add a leap year every 4 years without exception. The Gregorian fix added a new rule. Century years, 1700, 1800, 1900, would not be leap years unless they were also divisible by 400. So 1900 was not a leap year, but 2000 was. This makes the Gregorian calendar accurate to within 26 seconds per year. It will take about 3,000 years before it drifts by a single day. Not everyone adopted the Gregorian calendar immediately. Protestant countries refused it for over a century, considering it a Catholic imposition. Britain and its colonies didn't switch until 1752, by which point they needed to delete 11 days instead of 10. When Britain made the switch, people rioted in the streets, demanding their 11 days back. They believed time had literally been stolen from their lives. Russia didn't adopt the Gregorian calendar until 1918 after the revolution. So this morning, when you check the date without thinking, You were using a system built on top of a Roman political calendar, reformed by a suspicious king who feared even numbers, corrupted by priests who used time as a weapon, rescued by a dictator who imported an Egyptian astronomer, and finally stabilized by a pope trying to celebrate Easter on the right day. The months are named after Roman gods, Roman emperors, and Latin numbers that no longer reflect their position in the year. February is still short because of Roman superstition. Leap years exist because of an Alexandrian astronomer's elegant approximation. And the reason your year starts on January 1st instead of March is because Julius Caesar needed January to be the first month, so that the new consuls of Rome could take office at the start of the calendar year. A bureaucratic convenience in ancient Rome dictated when your year begins. The calendar feels inevitable. It feels like the only way time could possibly be organized. But tomorrow, when January arrives and you write the date at the top of something, you'll know what you're really writing. The accumulated legacy of thousands of years of mistakes, superstitions, political corruption, and one very long year in ancient Rome.